Let me get one thing out of the way first before I start this video. I'm not here to sell you on feudal Japan. Personally, I'm a little burned out on the whole samurai era vibe. We've had a flood of games in that exact setting over the last few years, and for me it started to feel familiar in a way that's not always exciting. Sometimes it's gorgeous, sure, but the overall tone can feel also a little bit heavy and bleak. And that's the main reason I never really got deep into Assassin's Creed Shadows back when I played it on a more powerful platform. Not because I thought it was a bad game, but because the setting didn't pull me in the way it does for a lot of other people. And yeah, the story isn't really that attracting to me. But then I started Shadows on the Nintendo Switch 2 this weekend, and weirdly enough, it gave me the itch to actually play it again. The biggest compliment I can give the Switch 2 version is simple. Ubisoft basically put this huge open world RPG in your hands, and it's not some portable edition that's missing half the features like it's usually the case with portable editions. This is the full game, the full map, the full systems. The Switch 2 release also lines up with Ubisoft's own rollout plans for the platform. And if you've already played on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series or PC, there's a feature here that genuinely surprised me. Cross-progression. I booted up the Switch 2 version and no joke, I could continue from my existing save file. It almost felt too smooth to be true, like it happened in the background without me even trying. That's the kind of modern convenience I wish more ports had. So how does it actually run? That's of course the basic question and the most important one. Well, in both handhelds and docked mode, the target is mostly locked in at 30 FPS, and in my experience it feels steady enough that I can relax into it. Yeah, I got some issues with like low frame rate games, and yeah, I also noticed small dips here and there, but nothing that made me stop playing or feel like the game was falling apart. And that happens a lot with bigger games that are landing on the right platform. Also, worth noting, there aren't big graphical toggles where you pick performance or quality. It's more of a curated experience. You boot it up and play. From what's been discussed around the port, docked play leans on techniques like DLSS style upscaling, while handheld can feel smoother movement to movement thanks to VRR behavior on the device. And even if you don't care about the tech terms, you do notice the result. The game feels surprisingly playable for something that's this massive on a very small and not so powerful handheld. One realistic thing to mention though, some reviews noted stutters during loading moments or when the game is pulling in lots of data. Not constant, but apparently it can happen. Didn't happen to me, gotta be honest, but I did read about it, so I did want to tell you on this video, but I didn't experience those things. Now let's talk about the part you will notice immediately if you've played elsewhere. Presentation. On high-end hardware, Shadows is one of those Ubisoft games that tries to impress you with scale and detail. Dense scenery, atmosphere, lighting, and that living world feel. A lot of reviews praise the exploration and the stealth loop, especially once you start leaning into each character's strengths. On the Switch 2, it's a different vibe if you ask me. The game is still recognizable, it still works, but the visual quality is clearly scaled down. Resolution, world density, facial detail, cloth complexity. You can tell the port is making sacrifices to keep the experience stable. And here's the thing, and maybe I'm like searching for things, maybe some people are gonna hate me for it. I don't even mean that as a roast, you know, those minor issues and the quality going down a little, because this is the kind of compromise I actually do respect, instead of chasing flashy visuals and collapsing performance. The Switch 2 version feels like it chooses the more important goal, playability. So no, this isn't the parade horse version you show off on a monster PC, but as a handheld open world Assassin's Creed, it's honestly impressive that it holds together as well as it does. If I had to compare it, it's the classic situation like The Witcher 3 on the Switch. Visually reduced, clearly different, but still kind of magical that it exists and feels playable, and in this case, the overall stability seems to be one of the port's strengths. Here's the twist. Even though I'm Japan setting tired, I had more fun with Shadows on the Switch 2 than I expected, and I even had a little more fun on the Switch 2 than I did on the PlayStation 5 and the PC. And I think I know why. The former changes the mindset. On a big TV, this game can feel like a huge commitment, you know, a giant map, a giant checklist, long sessions, and, you know, endless quests that just keep popping up. That was my biggest issue. On a handheld, it becomes something else. A game you can play in smaller chunks, on the couch, in bed, during the holidays, while visiting family, wherever you are. And because of that, the game became more approachable for me. Less overwhelming, more pick up and play, even though it's still absolutely a giant RPG. It also helped me appreciate what people like about it. The dual protagonist dynamic, which the first time I played it, kind of hated. The way stealth and combat feels different depending on who you play, of course, and that Ubisoft open world loop, when you're in the mood for it, can be really satisfying. So, if you want the best version of Assassin's Creed Shadows, the Switch 2 is probably not the right game to get. But if you want the most flexible version, the one that lets you take a massive Assassin's Creed RPG anywhere with solid performance and the convenience of cross progression, then this port is way better than I expected. Like, a lot of respect for Nintendo for this. It won't convert you if you hate the setting. I'm still not totally in love with feudal Japan and the team, but the Switch 2 version did something I didn't expect. It made me want to keep playing, and that alone makes it a very successful port. And especially for people with kids and stuff, you can play on the couch, in bed, you know, you probably never have like control of your own TV or whatever, or PlayStation, so this might be actually perfect for a lot of dads out there, so you hear me? Get this game. No, I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope I helped you guys out. If you got some questions or you got some feedback, let me know. Did you play it on the Switch too? Drop something in the comments, what you think about it, if you're enjoying it, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great day, guys. Bye.